Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to the 110 Nation Sports Show. I am your host, Mr. CJ Sports. Glad to be in the studio. Glad to be here on this hump day. Glad that I get to have Mario with me on top of that, all up in the Carolina Sports Plus studio. Mario, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be in the studio to talk a little sports.
Lord have mercy. We got some things to go over. I am just about, I would say about 80% recovered from my poison ivy experience. I think I talked a little bit on Sunday's show. For those that have not heard or did not get the memo or whatever the case, we have the 110 Nation weekend review. I sit down for about 30 minutes and we talk about the 110 Nation, what's going on, media side, sports merch side, everything. Just kind of talking about it. So talked a little bit about my poison ivy experience. I have not had I've not had poison ivy since I was probably in elementary school. I don't know exactly what age. I know when it happened. I know that we were out camping, and I know that me and my brother decided to go too far off the edge, and it was like a steep hill down. It was a dirt path down. It was wet that day, and we slipped, and we started going down the hill, and we didn't know at the time, but thank God we stopped ourselves, but at the bottom of this steep hill led to an actual busy road. And the reason I say that, because we were going down this hill, and there was no stopping, and we started grabbing everything, and unfortunately everything was poison ivy, and we ended up with poison ivy everywhere. We were in elementary school about that time of frame. I just don't know exactly how old I was, but I can tell you how or when and what happened. We're going to fast forward about 30 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 or 35. We'll go somewhere in there. To 2 Sundays ago, in help raising money to raise to help buy inventory for the 110 Sports and Collectibles Company. One of the things I did was help clear out the side of the garage at my ex-sister-in-law's house, who she warned me, and I've told everybody she did warn me, that there was possibly my brother has gotten poison ivy over there. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put a long-sleeve shirt on, wear some gloves, I'm good. Well, unfortunately, it was all up in the air, and where I had a tank top underneath the long-sleeve shirt, it was a thin shirt, unfortunately. I didn't get nothing, but everywhere else, the tank top didn't help cover my body. I ended up with poison ivy to the extent that my arm was swollen. I constantly had pus coming. I'm not going to say pus, but it was a poison ivy, whatever, coming out of it. I had to keep it wrapped. I did have a long sleeve shirt on one day, and it got saturated. Last Thursday, we had the Dayton Dragons game. We walked around. I didn't want to sit by anybody with it because, like, that Thursday was, like, probably the worst day of it. And we walked around. I didn't want to sit by anybody, so we walked around 2 laps around the ball field, and we got to that point I couldn't walk no more because the back of my legs were hurting so bad from the poison ivy that's the only part that really still agitates me is behind my left leg. Friday night, the family actually went out and celebrated the wife's oldest. He turned 21, and they went to a comedy club and got to have his first drink with them and everything else. I couldn't bring myself to be out. I was still leaking poison ivy out of my body every which direction, so I didn't get to do that. And Saturday, I ended up missing the first Dayton Dragons game. I did make it to the first pitch. Saturday, I didn't even bother to go try to go to the game. So I am about, I would say, 80% recovered at this point. I got a little bit, really now at this point it itches a little bit, but it's because I am very dry now. Like my skin is very dry. I went and got Mario. Oh my Lord, if you ever get poison ivy, I will tell you this exfoliating scrub to get. We have what we call a Meijer here. It's kind of like a Walmart's. It was actually the Super Walmart before there was a Super Walmart. It was $10.99 for this bottle of scrub, and when you you wash it, it's got the exfoliating like sand stuff in it, and where you're not supposed to scratch, and you're taking that exfoliating stuff and you're going over the poison ivy. Oh my God, it is probably better than sex. Like it felt so good. I've gone through 4 bottles of it. It's probably why my skin is so dry. But I tell you what, you can put me on a commercial for this stuff. I tell you what, it did its job. My skin, like I said, I'm about 80%. My one arm's almost completely the others, which was the worst side. Still a little bit behind the leg, but great stuff. All to help raise money. And you know what the sad thing is, Mark? I hardly charged anything. You pretty much said I did all that for free. Because I only charged her $50 for 5 hours worth of work. Originally, I went over to do bushes and do a little section of the fence. I was like, you know what, ex-sister-in-law. So second time she's used me, I'm going to get another gig or two from her. It was just $35. I was like, you know what, got everything out. Another $15. I'll take care of the side of the garage for you. And that was the first thing out of her mouth. Be careful of the poison ivy. And I was like, gotcha. So I literally made $50, and she actually felt so bad. She actually sent me an extra $25 to help get some poison ivy stuff. But we're going to talk a little bit more about the sports and collectible part here in a second. But doing my part to try to get this inventory for my first event, my first festival, the Star Spangled Heights. It's our town's 4th of July. Since the 4th of July is in the middle of the week, they do it usually the weekend before, the weekend after, usually the weekend before if they can. And so we got it the weekend before. We're going to be out there 12 to 9 at Thomas Cloud Park in Newburgh Heights, Ohio. I say all that to say Mario just came off the road. He's been on the road for about 10 days now with the mobile Carolina Sports Plus store out at the Hoke County, right? I am right. Hoke County?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what's crazy about that, before I continue on talking about your Carolina Sports Plus, is all of a sudden, I don't know why, but the Hoke County Festival Facebook page kept running in my feed. I kept thinking it was you that I looked at it and it says Hoke County Festival. And I was like, that is really odd that I know somebody actually there right now, and their Facebook feed is coming through my feed that I've never seen. But anyway, Mario's home for what, 2 days? I think it was. No, he got home Sunday night or Monday. Was home yesterday, doing this tonight with us, so he could turn around tomorrow, be right back out the door to do another festival. Mario, how did the last 10 days go? How did Hoke County Festival treat you? And then where are you headed? Where can they find you?
Oh yeah, it was an awesome time being out there at the Hope Fest in Hope County in Rayford, North Carolina. You know, it was, the fair was jumping. It was a lot of sales, a big crowd. Friday and Saturday, you know how Fridays and Saturdays go at the fair, so that's always a good thing. This week right here, we're going to be at McCall, South Carolina. They're having their first annual fair or anything in that town, so they're kind of been promoting real heavy. People been talking about it, so we're going on the road with the fair with Michael's Amusements, and going to McCall, South Carolina for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But It's always a good time. It's always a good time. It's always fun to be around. But if you're in that area, definitely check us out. Like us on Facebook and Instagram at Carolina Sports Plus, and just check out what we got to offer. We got a lot of good things going on.
I tell you what, this might be, and I think I said this on Sunday night show as well. This might be the most nerve-wracking, exciting, adrenaline rush, like doing all this. One, I didn't realize how much there was to all this, Mario, like the LLCs, and here we got to have vendor license, and we got to do our state. I know you guys, you do it there, but you do it quarterly, but in Ohio, by the 23rd of every month, I actually got to file the business taxes every single month. And I tell you what, I've dealt with the IRS twice already since we started this, and a lot of people have negative things to say, can't stand the IRS, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because I told my brother about this, and he was like, did you hear about my IRS fiasco? And he had this whole bad experience with them. But I tell you what, first time I called him, I expected really be put on hold, and it'd be this whole thing. Answer the phone instantly, not on hold, answer my question. One of the greatest customer service experiences I've ever had. Second time I called, really expected to be put on hold. This time I was put on hold for like a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and then got the most pleasant customer service experience I got. I don't know if because we're out of tax season, if it's just the business side, or these ladies just work at different sections. She's like, yeah, if you even call in next month, we can link to your computer, and we will walk you step by step how to file your taxes for the business so you see how to do it, because we'll be able to show you on your screen through our screen. I was like, you got it. What? Like, I don't know what these people with the IRS, but this has been the craziest. You've seen some of the stuff I've already done, getting in prep, building my own peg wall, getting ready to build the other one this weekend. I'm coming up on 10 years for Circle K. And Brooklyn Pizzeria, which you're familiar with, I've helped run them for 10 years. The Marco's in Spring Lake, about 5 years. The Subway across the street, which used to be in the old building back in the day in the corner, I ran that one for a couple years. But to put on the owner's hat and, like, from a manager's point of view, all right, that's not a bad deal. Why don't we do that? But from a manager's experience, or from an owner's experience, is that really worth it? Is this what I'm about to purchase and what I'm trying to sell? Is there enough of it for me to even, this could sell for $10, but but it's normally $5. It's on sale for $3. Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
This item really going to do it for me, or am I taking a chance of spending $3 or whatever, $5 or whatever on something that I'm going to be stuck with? I start thinking about these things, am I going to be stuck with these things? So it is definitely a crazy on all that whole aspect of it, and just seeing it from the other side. But I'm very excited about all this. I'm very excited how this is going to help shape two things. One, the entire 110 and what we've been doing since 2011, and this coming kind of all together, but also how this is going to help build yours and I's business relationship, and where this is going to take us and how we can continue to work with each other to continue building what we got going on. So I'm very, very excited about this. We got some sad news today. We got some crazy news this week, I guess. I don't know what you're going to label this as. We got an inexcused absence today. We got some things. We got a possible Mavericks team going down 0-3. There's a lot of things, but let's get the sad out the way. Today, for those that don't know, Jerry West has passed away. I've seen comments all over the place, most of them in respect and tasteful. I did see someone say, well, I guess it's time to change the logo. So I don't know. Some people just don't have a heart, I guess. very influential of the NBA, of course. What he did and the teams that he built, obviously being the logo for the NBA. For those that don't know, that's who the logo is Jerry West. I don't know. He did a lot of great things. Golden State, Lakers. There's another team in there that I know I'm missing. But he put some organizations together and really, and then also in his career, I think they were talking about 3 NBA finals. One of them he lost in OT in Game 7. All 3 of the series he lost were all Game 7s. I think 2 of them were overtime, and one of them he was MVP. But Jerry West and what he accomplished and what he did for the league, definitely a big loss for the NBA today.
Yes, it is. You know what I mean? It's, when I heard about it, it's something to think about just because, NBA was my first sport of choice, growing up. So, I was always into the basketball, Jerry West, and what he did once I heard of him, and once the Kobe situation, with Charlotte, and him hiring Phil Jackson, getting Shaquille O'Neal. So he's definitely done some good positive things definitely for the Lakers organization as long as he's been with them. You know what I mean? So it is a sad day, for sports, especially NBA, but his name, the image, it would definitely, live on forever.
You were sitting there talking about your first love in sport. I'm sitting there thinking, I think I could pin down to when I played my first sport. I wouldn't say that was my first love, and I want to say bowling. I want to say because I went to the Medway Lanes. I was in a bowling league when I was very little, and I had bowling leagues throughout my life to include just someone I worked with the Subway. Her and her husband, I cannot remember, somewhere in North Carolina. We were in a bowling league. It was somewhere in Fayetteville. We were in I think it was a 4-team league, but I liked to bowl. I remember playing football in 3rd grade. I played football 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. I remember starting to play t-ball. I think before I played baseball, before I played football, but continued on. I would have to say though, like to say actual love of a sport. I would have to say was probably NASCAR.
Yeah.
And it was from growing up, because growing up, there was really only 2 things on the TV when it came to sports. It was NASCAR. It was an all-day Sunday event. It was on. We didn't necessarily sit there and watch it all day. It would be on. We would be out cutting wood, cutting grass, or whatever the case at my father's house. And then coming in catching bits and pieces of it. My father was not one. You just sat around the house and watched TV all day. As a matter of fact, he didn't have, and it's a lot easier here in Ohio. As a matter of fact, we have not had our AC on to this point. As a matter of fact, there was a day this week, here we are in the middle of June, and we didn't even get out of the 50s. Now, granted, tomorrow we're supposed to be at 90, and 90 here in Ohio feels kind of more like 100 in North Carolina. It's hard to explain, but there is a difference. Just like 70 here, we're ready to be in shorts and go swimming. In 70 in North Carolina, you're not quite ready for that yet. You're still in shorts and a hoodie or sweatpants and a T-shirt. You're not ready to go swimming. It just feels different. It's weird, but it just so actually tomorrow morning will be the first. So we're about a month into the summer, because it starts usually about mid to late May, so we're almost a month into this technically summer. We're just now getting ready to turn the AC on. But my father was the type that he didn't turn the AC on. He didn't want us to have a reason to sit inside. But like I said, it was also in the country, a lot of trees. In Ohio, it's a lot easier not to run your AC. And the other thing was Cincinnati Bengals. I cannot stand the Cincinnati Bengals. I never could stand the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't know. I don't think I was necessarily a Browns fan at that point in time yet. But I didn't want to sit there and watch the Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't want that to be my team and didn't have a choice when it was on TV. And I really hadn't gotten into the Ohio State Buckeyes yet at that point in time as well. I think that became more of a thing when a buddy of mine that lived across the street, we became friends, and we spent a lot of nights over there on the weekend. We'd play, oh my God, we played RBI Baseball 3 on the old Nintendo. We'd actually keep our own stats because that was before those days. We played Tecmo football. And there was another one that we played. Oh, it was a Tecmo basketball or something like that we would just stay up all night long, and then we would just wake each other up when it was each other's turn. But I think that's when I became a Buckeye fan. I got to say, and it would be mid to late 80s, so I wasn't even 10 years old yet. That was probably my first love was NASCAR. Do you remember how young you were when basketball became your first sport, your first love in the sports?
Oh yeah. I was young. I was like in kindergarten. My mom and dad used to sign me up, for rec center everywhere. My dad. With my dad being in the military and things like that, so he used to be deployed. So I used to always be in the rec center somewhere in the gym, and just stay with it, and. Then started going to the course by myself, and moving and getting shipped somewhere. Basketball just felt the best place for me to be. So I just stayed with it, and then moved on. Then got to football and stayed with basketball, played football, baseball, and tried other sports. But yeah, I definitely remember.
See, basketball didn't become a thing for me until about the Shaq, Penny Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning era. Like, I don't know why. I never have, still don't, never will, like Michael Jordan. I'm just not a Jordan fan. I don't know why. I don't know if just because I hate seeing one team dominate all the time. I don't know if it's just because, he was a phenomenal player. I also believe there was a lot he got away with. Infamous, one of the biggest highlights is him pushing one of my players, Greg Elo, out of the way to make a three-pointer to win a game. So that could be factored into it. I don't know. I just was never a Jordan fan, so I kind of just blew it off. But even to this day, I still have Penny Hardaway rookie cards, Shaq rookie cards, Kobe Bryant rookie cards. But that's when I really started watching it, was Shaq, Penny Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, Lance Johnson. My brother was a Hornets fan back when it was originally the Hornets, back when that whole Hornet would light up and buzz, even though the Hornets didn't make it out, I think, in the second round or whatever. It was exciting games to watch with Muggsy Bogues and Alonzo Mourning and Kendall Gill and all that whole squad at that point in time. I loved basketball. It got to be where when I became like 17, 18 years old, and it became getting a driver's license and getting to go to work and hang out after that, I lost really interest in all sports. I might say I lost interest, but I didn't watch any sports because then I joined the military and I was all over the place. And so I hardly caught anything until I got out of the military. I wasn't working all that and doing a second job. Speaking of basketball, a couple different topics in basketball because of kind of the craziness and the NBA Finals going on right now. This whole Caitlyn thing. It is crazy to me, Mario, that there is such hate and resentment. Like, have you seen the numbers? Like, the numbers are like all-time high. Like, they're having to move women's basketball game from a 4,500 usual venue to play with the Wizards and 20,000 people. Like, it is insane, the upbeat. I'm curious to see how long this goes to go. This ain't changed my opinion of the WNBA or anything, but I'm curious to see how long, or at what point does she actually got to start being a dominant winning? I'm not going to say dominant because she's got good stats as well, but she's on a team that's not winning. So how long do you watch somebody that might have good numbers in the league she's in on a losing team? We'll see how long this plays out. But one, it is insane to me to see the difference in attendance, the difference in viewership. Like, you're talking about some of these games have more viewers than some of the NBA games. You're talking about having to move games to bigger venues. You're talking about chartered planes. You're talking about all these things. And two things that's just crazy to me. One, all the hate. Like, I guess I'm a different breed because I would be looking at is, look at what this woman has done for me, what she has done for this league. Like, we're no longer public flying. We have our own jets. We no longer, we don't have 20 people coming to watch our game. We got 20,000 people. Like, there's an actual, you could tell it's a home court advantage. Like, all of these things, the revenue and everything, like, I would be thanking her, not hating on her. I can understand the whole, maybe because the GOAT conversation is thrown out there already, and this girl's only played like 10 games, but just how she's impacted the game is more what they're talking about. Now, but I can understand, some of your all-time greats, like, I don't care what she's done. For the numbers, we're not going to use the GOAT word in this conversation. We'll call it someone else or call it something else. I can see that being maybe a thing, but even a girl that came from LSU running her mouth who's not done anything, like, it blows my mind that there's just so much hate, but also the fact that they didn't put her on Team USA. And
yeah.
I understand that she's a rookie, and I understand there's a lot of things, but I've also understand that they've won like the last 6 or 7 golds. Like, there's nobody, there's not a threat by anybody. So for the sake of the league, for the sake of the momentum of viewership, everything else, even maybe sprinkling a little controversy. Oh, she's a rookie. Why is she on the team? We don't look right. Like, why not create this whole public buzz and keep continuing what you're doing and let the girl be on the team and play some basketball in the Olympics that you have just single-handedly dominated for the last 6, 7, 8, however many damn Olympics has been, and there's really no threat still at this point. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's like the hate and shooting yourself in the foot. It's like it's going to ruin this whole momentum. Like, this is the first time in the entire league's history, other than when it first started, and it was this whole fresh thing. Has there ever been such momentum, buzz, media, everything about it? And it's like everybody that was there already before is just trying to kill it. Like, no, we want to go back to bitching about how little we get paid. We want to go back to bitching about how little we get covered. We want to go back to being stuffed in a small plate. Like, what are y'all doing here? Like, I'm not saying this girl's all-time great and is holier than thou, but damn, ride the momentum. You take the advantage. Like, use this. Like, make yourself have a better life. Help the league. Tell me I'm wrong, Mario. Am I speaking facts here?
Yeah, I'm on the side that you're on. I think a lot of them are spiteful. You know how the coaches and players say, she's just lining up against, we're just playing the opponent and blah, blah. Them girls going after her. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're physically going. Which, basketball is basketball. Sports is sports. You're going to get pushed around. You're going to get shoved around. You know what I mean? But they're definitely targeting her. You know what I mean? They're definitely, making sure that she's getting bumped and moved around. So that's something that, that's going to take time. That she has to get worked up to. But at the same token, them girls hating on her. They hating on her bad. You know what I mean? And they can keep her off the Olympic team. You got Brittany Griner on there. You got Brittany Griner on there. She only played one or two games this year. You know what I mean? She ain't doing nothing. You get what I'm saying? But then they say they wanted and
was a black guy to the whole league with the whole weed stuff. So like,
yeah. So I just don't see why I just want even though you can put her on a team and there's players that's better than her, at her position, which I agree. I agree with that part. As far as starters, she'll probably be on the bench, but why not put her on the bench anyway?
Mm-hmm.
You got to ride the
garbage
momentum,
time,
man. You got to ride the momentum. You know what I mean? You got to help. You got to try to help this brand grow, to get paid, to get these people in these seats. But I'm definitely feeling the way that you're feeling.
26 years, I think, is the number they've thrown out. The league's been here. I didn't realize it's been that long, and it's gone nowhere. You were talking, they're talking about one of the Washington team plays in an arena that only holds like 4,500 people. That literally means it's gone nowhere.
Yeah.
This little old white girl from Iowa shows up in this league, and all of a sudden, I don't know what it is. There's nothing about her that just like, oh my God, I gotta watch her. Oh my God, she's there are at least 10 that I could probably name, to include the girl from LSU. I can't think of Reese, whatever her name is. That looks better than her. And I've not even watched the league, and I could, off the top of my head. Hell, what's her face? Leslie, what's her name? Leslie Johnson? Well, no, that's not her name. What's Lisa Leslie?
Yeah, I know you're talking.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah,
she's
Lisa
finer than her, and she's older than me. And still finer than it. But there's nothing about this Caitlin girl that just, nothing about her looks, nothing about her style, nothing. That says, all these people got to tune in. It's not like when Danica showed up for NASCAR and all these guys all of a sudden want to watch, or like Taylor Swift going to the Chiefs game and all of a sudden you got these young Swifties watching football and interested because Taylor Swift. Like, this is just some plain Jane. If she wouldn't have went to Iowa, honestly, maybe she would have went to somewhere else other than Iowa, a big college that she didn't stick out in a league like the ACC or the SEC, that you're playing these tougher girls teams or playing Connecticut more often, then I don't think we would be having this conversation. I think she played on a team that she was the best player in a conference that you stuck out in. It wasn't like you were going against the Connecticut's all the time, or the Baylors, or some of these SEC teams, or even Duke or UNC on their good years. So that's just my firm belief. And nothing to take away from her. She's a great player. But there's nothing about her that says we're going to go from having 4,000 people at our game to 20,000, and that's on a road game on the worst team in the WNBA. I don't even know if the Washington had even won a game at that point. I can't remember what the record was. It was either 0 wins, 1 win, something like that. But it's happened. And it just blows my mind, like, the amount of hate, and I've watched a couple of the players that you're talking about, like girl, like basically shoulder tackling into Caitlin, like, and I think they end up changing that later on. The league changed it, and ended up making a flagrant, I think, is the play they're talking about. But it just blows my mind. Like, I wish some hot fresh out of high school or college dude came into my store as an assistant manager underneath me and just showed me some things. I've been doing this forever. It doesn't mean it. And I tell everybody all the time, especially when I'm training new managers, look, if I miss something or you see something, that let me know. I said, I am not too proud. I said, if there's an easier way, a way that I possibly did not see it, I said, I am all about learning and making my job easier and finding the easiest way to do something. So for a young cat come in there and able to help generate more people in my store, and then ultimately revenue goes up, then my bonus goes up because now there's more revenue and we're doing better. Like, you think I'm going to hate on this dude? Like, look, give this dude a store. Just wait till I retire and you can have mine. I said, I want to keep riding this coattail right here because I'm not going to hate. I'm not shooting myself in the foot. Like, I don't know. But staying in basketball, the NBA, I don't know if I saw this coming, Mario. Like, we're talking 02. I'm not going to say I don't think that I couldn't see Boston winning. I think, honestly, this probably was the best ideal situation for the NBA. You're talking about two of the best teams. Like, we're getting what should be a nail biter every single time. And so I don't think it's over. I think Mavericks will probably win home tonight. Under Jason Kidd, I think the Mavericks are like 1 in some odd number on game one. So we all kind of expect them to lose game one or 0 something. I don't know what it is. They don't hardly ever win with Jason Kidd in game one in the playoffs. But I didn't expect them to be down 2. I just expected it more to be a 1-1 at this point, a little bit closer. It'd go to Game 7. I'm not saying it won't. I think Dallas will win this one. It'll at least win one of them. I don't know. I'm not going to say even if they win this one, it's going to be a 2-2 series. It still might be 3-1. We also know that nobody's ever came back from a 3-0, so definitely don't want to be down 3-0. Kyrie and company already pushed that 3-1 comeback when he played for Cleveland. So we know a 3-1 is possible, but that 3-0 has never been done. And I'm not saying that it can't be done, but until somebody does it, it's not been done. So I think Dallas wins tonight. I'm not 100% convinced on where it goes from there, but I'm just more surprised that. And I feel Game 1 wasn't really that close, if I remember correctly. Game 2 was closer, and Luka kind of took the hit for the loss. He kind of took, I'm not going to say credit, but took blame for the loss. Mara, your thoughts on the series so far? Where did you think we would be sitting right now, and what needs to change for Dallas to get back in this?
Yeah, Boston always been a good home team, you know what I mean, throughout the last couple of years, with the Tatum and Brown partnership. So, them winning 2 games at home, is it surprising? No. The game tonight, Dallas has to win. This ain't something that, I think Dallas understands they need this game. But with Porzingis out, it really turns the series depending on how things go with him, how long he's going to be out, just because of the switching and players guarding him and him guarding the guards and keeping them at bay. That's definitely going to play a factor, and we're definitely going to see tonight. But I think Dallas has to win this game. I wouldn't say the series is over. If Dallas can pull out the next 2 games at home, you got an even series, but it all starts tonight, and they got to win. And Kyrie Irving definitely has to play a lot better than he's been playing in the finals.
Oh, yeah. Do you think Porzingis comes back? A couple of different shows I watched today, one of them didn't sound at all that they thought he was coming back. The other one didn't sound too confident.
No, they just ruled him out. They just ruled him out right before the game starts at 8:30. But he's ruled out for tonight.
No, but do you think he's coming back for the series, or I don't know the severity of his injury?
I think he does. I think they're probably doing the side of caution, being up 2-0. He did work out earlier before, and he did have some movement. But I think it was needed just to sit him and see what happens, and then go from there. But later on in the series, depending on how things get, I think he will come back, just because he is a playmaker and he does make Boston a better team overall.
Tom Brady, I didn't know this was happening today, inducted into the New England Patriots Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
That situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he just came off that whole roast, but kind of find out he kind of got butthurt with all of that. And so I wonder if anything from anybody in the Patriots organization was any of it that he got butthurt about, and it had to be at this event. Like, it's just a interesting chain of events there. Does he deserve to be Hall of Fame for the Buccaneers?
I wouldn't go. That's up for debate. I wouldn't go that far.
Can we even
he
think of a
had
quarterback that was better than Tom? Can we even think of a quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that was even better than Tom Brady in their history?
No.
So I wonder if that makes you, if you're the best quarterback that organization, even at 40 years old, but the best quarterback that organization has ever had, I wonder if that automatically makes you like Hall of Fame worthy for that team. Like, I know it was a short stint, and I think any other organization, well, I'm not going to say any organization, but I don't think every organization that will necessarily be true. Like, he would have won the championship for Dallas. I don't know. Hall of Fame material. The Giants. I'm sure we can name a handful of teams. 49ers, Green Bay. But anyway, but for the Buccaneers, especially since you've not really had, and I apologize, anybody listening, Buccaneers or Buccaneer fans, that I overlook or think of any of your quarterbacks you've had, but I can't think of any quarterback in Buccaneers history that was like great, good. I mean, you have a Super Bowl win, but that was like Johnson or somebody. That was a. Brad Johnson. Yeah. That's like Trent Dilfer winning for the Baltimore Ravens. Doesn't make him a great quarterback. He just happened to have a great – both of them just happened to have great defenses that kind of carried that whole year in the Super Bowl. The Tampa 2 or whatever for their defense, and then, of course, Baltimore's always had a great defense. But you had a stint with Jameis Winston. Nobody ever classify as great. I think Doug Williams played for the Buccaneers, if I remember correctly, but nobody would classify at least why he played for the Buccaneers. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he did. Obviously he went on to Washington and won a Super Bowl, but that was not with him. I remember Vinny Testaverde being a Buccaneer.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of quarterbacks we can name, but I can't think of any that was actually. I don't even know if I want to use the word even good. Like, I'm definitely going to say that were great, but I don't even know if they've had any quarterbacks that we'd even label good or between a good and great, I guess. I wouldn't label any of them good. Like, even with a Super Bowl win, I wouldn't label him good. He just game managed his way to a Super Bowl, just like Trent Dilfer. Like, so I don't know. I saw something was trending. When I was here, I just pulled up and was talking about trending now, and I couldn't understand. Now it says Tom Brady Hall of Fame, but before it just said Patriots. I went, maybe it was breaking news about the Patriots, and that's when I saw it was the Hall of Fame for, and obviously he's rightfully Hall of Fame for the Patriots. And I was sitting there thinking, damn, I wonder if, what about the Buccaneers? But there was something else I was going to say. I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I remember now. Mandatory minicamp. Seems that Aaron Rodgers decided that he's not going to go to mandatory minicamp. For those who don't know, I guess mandatory minicamp used to be 3 days. I guess it's now 2 days. Depending on who you talk to, as I listened to James Jones talk about his days with Green Bay, all they did was the first day meetup, kind of, hey, how you been? Looks like you've been in the gym. Looks like you this. Looks like you that. Maybe tossed the ball around a couple times, and then they called it a day. The second day they did of a team building game, like played ice hockey or whatever sport they just dipped around, basically. Third day they went home. But Acho, because I was watched 3 different shows today. That was the last one as I was doing notes. Macho talked about they actually did some stuff. It's nothing like OTAs, but they actually did a little bit of something. Knowing what I know, and you really can't. There's no 7-on-7, 9-on-7s. There's no contact or whatever. I mean, what's really the point of mandatory OTAs? Or what? I'm not gonna say what's more so. What is the big deal if he doesn't come? But the other issue, because it's an unexcused. It wasn't like something came up in a family or health or something. It was an unexcused, or I think that's where they use unexcused. But the other part of me is sitting there thinking, you are the leader. Like, this date's been on your calendar. You knew this was coming. Like, you should have worked all your stuff around that. Especially, and it blows my mind, especially when it comes to athletes. Like, all this money you get paid, and you act like it's an inconvenience because you got to do just for this. This actually just use this for an instance. You act like you're inconvenience because you got a show for 2 days in the middle of summer. You made like $20 million this summer doing nothing. Like, you make like $50 million a year. So you break that up, your summer, you're getting like $15, $20 million, and you're not doing nothing. So you're asked to come in for 3 days. Come in for 3 days. Like, someone pay me $50 million. Hell, someone pay me just 15. Pay me $1.5 million a year. And you want me 3 days in the summer, I'll drop whatever I'm doing. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's not a regular job. And I'm not trying to belittle any athlete. What I mean by this, you're not working 365. You have a season, you have an off season. So you have a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever your off season length is, to do whatever you pretty much want to do and plan everything in that point of time. It's just the other part of the year or whatever days are set, like, for instance, mini camp, that you got to plan around. That's your job. It's not like the rest of the world where we work 5 days a week, get 2 days off. Work 5 days a week, get 2 for the entire year, other than our vacation. And that's when we plan to do our stuff. So I don't understand why athletes and movie stars act like some of this stuff is the most inconvenient thing in the world. Oh, my God, I got to do this. Dude, you've been sitting on your butt making $15 million for the last 3 months. So now you actually got to do something. And now you're about to have to work for the other $25 million you're getting this year, or $35 million, whatever your contract is. Like, but to see some of these people having meltdowns and act like it's the end of the world, and, oh, my God, he's not showing up, and now the Jets this, and, oh, my God. I don't think it's that serious. Like, he was there half the season last year when he didn't have to be. He was injured. Like, there was no point in him being there, but he was there. He did the volunteer OTAs or whatever they had. There's nothing in these 2 days that would have been that much. There's no contact or none. Like, other than learning signs and stuff, which you could do that at any point in time, and signals and all that stuff. Like, you got all summer to practice that. Just because you didn't do it those 2 particular days doesn't mean. And some of these people act like, okay, if they didn't do it these 2 days, that means they ain't doing nothing all summer long. Doesn't mean that they don't do stuff on their own. Doesn't mean like they don't meet up at someone's house or someone's local facility that's private to them. And, like, y'all act like these were the only 2 days they were supposed to work out in the entire month of June. And it's because he didn't show up for those 2 days in June. He is not going to work out for the entire month of June. That's not what that just meant. Like I said, I understand he's a leader, and it looks bad. And come on, you're off for, like, you've been off since what, 2 plays into the beginning of the season. But anyway, you've been off since like January, and you don't actually start playing until like what, September? Well, you got preseason, August, I think. So you got like a 7-month gap. You're going to tell me these 2 days was such an inconvenience? Like, I don't know, Mario. What's your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, as far as, Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, he's always, I wouldn't say in front page news, no, but, Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's saying that, he has something very important to do, and, the team is still going to find him. So obviously the coach is mad, or the GM, or the ownership, because they're finding him. You know what I mean? So obviously one of them 3 are kind of mad that he's not there. You get what I'm saying? As far as, being the leader, even though he was that voluntary training OTAs, and if the season starts bad, could people turn around and say, well, he shouldn't have missed, June 12th through the 13th? I think he would have better chemistry with the wide receivers, or blah, 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 blah. But I don't think him missing these 2 days are going to be very impactful to the overall if he stays healthy all year, to the Jets. His main thing is just staying healthy, to be honest. I wouldn't say, keep him off his feet as much as possible or keep him not from running. I understand he has to run and work out, but then at the same token, you don't want him hurt early after what he's been through already. So it's just, if he wins, it ain't going to be a big thing. If they lose early, they'll talk about it, but it is Aaron Rodgers. And, with Aaron Rodgers in the media, sometimes it just don't look right. And this is a time where, some people could say it just don't look right.
Say you're a wide receiver for the New York Jets. You show up to mandatory mini camp and you find out that Zach Wilson's throwing footballs to you. Aaron Rodgers decided he didn't show up. How are you taking it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who's their back. I know Zach Wilson's on. I forgot who their backup quarterback is, but it's all good. Just throw me the ball because I can only control my routes and what I got going on. You know what I mean? So if somebody's out there throwing the ball, I'm trying to get open. If I'm the wide receiver, will I be mad?
At two different ways. I'm looking at two different ways. One, I'm getting more practice. I'm getting my hand on the balls more and more often. But two, if I can catch anybody else's passes, I'm definitely going to be able to catch Aaron Rodgers' passes. So, whoever's throwing these sloppy balls out there, when Aaron Rodgers throwing those airtight spirals, then I'm good to go. I can catch this, I can catch that. Yeah. Oh, Lord. You got anything to throw up on the table before we look on bouncing out of here?
Oh, no, I don't. I really got some things to do after the show. So I'm good, We got it in today.
Other thing I saw, and not really much talk about it yet at this point, Jason Kelce, I guess one of the minority owners of the Eagles, is trying to sell his share. Said he would back out of the TV deal if he was able to become a minority owner. I guess they're looking probably around about $7.5 billion for the value, which is 11 times more than what they actually make per year. Don't know if he's going to have. At this point, we don't know what that minority stake is worth or what they're selling it for. Yeah. I'm sure this will be something that becomes a topic of conversation. I think most people, I don't care who you're a fan of. I don't even think Cowboy fans or Giants fans hate Jason Kelce. And that's one of the most hated rivalries in football is that whole. I don't even think anybody. They might hate everybody else on the team. I don't see or can think anybody hating Jason Kelce. He just seems like he is the most go happy, fun person in the world. But anyway, that was really the only other topic out there. I'm going to let you go first. Let them know where they can find you, not only next week, where you're going to be out in South Carolina, but also website, Instagram, Facebook, all that great stuff.
All right. You can check us out on social media, on Facebook and Instagram at Carolina Sports Plus. If you want to do a little shopping, see what we got. There's not too much on the website right now, but you can check out CarolinaSportsPlus.com. If you're in the McCall, South Carolina, North Carolina border, we'll be in McCall from tomorrow all the way through Sunday. So if you're in that area, definitely come and check us out. But give us a like on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Carolina Sports Plus.
Don't forget, we got a whole plethora of shows. We start Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Got the 110 Nation Weekend Review. Chris and I will be having a conversation probably this week about bringing back the exclusive. We wanted to give Blog Talk Radio a couple weeks of not having any errors before we got back into trying to schedule guests on Monday nights. We usually do that 8 o'clock. We bring on either a driver, some kind of athlete, someone part of the racing world, whatever the case may be. We sit down, 30-minute show, have them on for about 20, 25 minutes. We out the studio. Tuesday nights, you guys, we got Race Chat live at 8:30. Taz and Chris, they get you guys caught up on all things racing, usually mostly NASCAR, but they do cover Formula One, IRL, SRX, sprint cars, drag racing, you name it, NHRA, whatever. Then, of course, you guys got us here 7 o'clock. The 110 Nation Sports Show. Once the NFL season gets back into full swing, I think we'll be back to extending the show again. Right now, there's just not a lot going on, so there's just too much dead time. And then Thursday night, Safety to Success, Jared Hudson. Great show. Talks to a lot of local drivers, local vendors, local safety. He had a great show. He had a couple great guests on, Chase Montgomery and Jimmy something last week. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All the shows end up over there. I also break up all the shows into smaller clips and let you guys just listen to certain parts of the show versus have to listen to the whole show to get to different parts and different things that we talk about. Also, make sure you guys like us on Facebook, The 110 Nation Sports, and check out the site, www.the110nationsportsradionetwork.com, for all the latest links to all the different platforms, iHeart, Amazon, Spotify, you name it, we are there. Then also, the 110 Sports and Collectibles Company, that is what we're working on here in Ohio. We got our first event June 29th. I'm looking forward to that, Thomas Cloud Park, for those that are local to me. Looking to get into our first location October 5th. But make sure you guys like us on Facebook as well, the 110 Nation Sports, the 110 Sports and Collectibles Company, on Instagram as well. And Mario and I will be working on the website next week to get that up and running. I think that's about everything for this week, Mario.
Yep. See you next week.
See you next week.